Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FTU Life After the Military. I'm your host, Tony Rodriguez, and today is May 18th, 2024. This weekend is a pretty big weekend for me. I have a paper that's due in my mentoring, coaching, and blah, 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 whatever class, and it's actually done. I need to edit it, but it's complete, which is a first for me. Usually I'm writing up until about papers usually due at midnight on Sunday and writing up to about or editing up until about like 6 o'clock on Sunday. So to be completed is something new, something refreshing, relaxing. And because of who I am, I'm probably going to procrastinate today and do absolutely nothing. I'm in this battle to the death with these birds who are intent on building a nest in the walkway of my new house. And in my old house, it was charming. In this house, I don't think so, buddy. So I want to go buy an air rifle because my buddy, the interpreter that we had in Iraq, Al, who was an American, he wasn't Iraqi, he was American, taught me that air rifles are an awesome thing if you have pesky pigeons or birds around. A couple of shots and they won't return. So that's where I am this Saturday. It's hopefully it doesn't get to that. Hopefully the birds will just go away. All right. So what do I want to talk about this week? This week was actually a pretty exciting week. There was a symposium here on Fort Liberty. I went. The graduate students for their NDU program for their master's in strategic studies. They were presenting their papers this week, and good on them. It's a good program. If you're in the military and you're able, you should get into that program because it's a free degree and they give you 10 months to attend that course on that program and you end up with a master's. Now, the academic side of me was bored and I wanted to suck start a 9 mil because there was no original thought. Most of the papers were pathetic. They were a joke. They were laughable. And honestly, may God have mercy on all of their souls because he wasted 10 months of your life. Now, as a soldier and a military person, good on you. You took advantage of the opportunity that was there for you and you earned a degree. Okay. And I know people are going to say, how can you say both things? Both things can be true. Like most things in life, that you can have more than, you can view things from more than one angle. Their papers were garbage. 90% of their papers were garbage. It's like, I don't know what you're writing a stuff that is 50 years out of date, right? But they earned a degree. So evidently it was good enough, right? And that's all you have to be is you have to be good enough. You don't have to, in the military, you're always told, well, you have to be the best of the best of the best of the best. That's stupid, right? That's stupid because the majority of the people in the military are not the best of the best of the best of the best. They're the best of what we had to choose from at the time, right? So if you have an opportunity, take advantage of it. I don't like to, look at celebrities too much, but Jerry Seinfeld was here just last week giving the commencement speech over at Durham, and he was talking about, taking advantage of your privilege, right? Well, growing up in East Los Angeles, I didn't realize that I was privileged just being an American. Now I do, and so I take advantage of every opportunity I can get. For everybody who earned their degree, my opinion is just that. If you let my opinion sway you for any at all, then you have bigger problems. Because who cares, right? Why would you care about my opinion? Right? And that's the attitude I've taken with a lot of things in life. Like, why would I care? My second house, I am considering refinancing it. I have a nice low interest rate of like 2.8% right now. And it's going to jump up to 7%. And of course, I have people, well, why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. And, economically, that doesn't. It's like, my question to them was, are you going to make the payment? It's like, what? Are you going to make my monthly housing payment? Well, no. Then what do you care? Why would I care about your opinion? because most of the people are just people that making small talk or whatever, just talking here and there, and they're people that I just know in my life, not really friends, acquaintances, co-workers, but none of them are vacationing in the French Riviera. They don't have a third house in Hawaii. They don't go to Aspen in the winter to spend the winter there in their winter house, right? They're not billionaires. They're not E.F. Hutton, right? For those of you who are old enough, you'd remember those commercials from the 80s. When E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen, right? They're not E.F. Hutton. So why would I take their advice? Who are they? Nobody's, right? So that leads me into the first topic I want to talk about today is the power of no, right? And when I was in the military, I learned real quick. You say no for everything. If somebody asks you a question, no, 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 no. And the reason why is because if you say yes, that leaves you open to doing more work. So you just say no, regardless of what it is. Sometimes it bites you in the ass, but the majority of the time it kept you from doing extra work. Getting out of the Army, I had to learn how to say yes to things, to take advantage of opportunities and just try new things and just say yes, like help people out. And in my job, I have no problem saying yes. And the reason because I am no longer, I just do my job. I don't have to worry about mowing the lawn, getting the lawn mowed, or making sure some jackhole goes to dental, or preparing for some stupid jump, or helping some incompetent NCOR officer set up the DZ because they don't know how to do it. They're assigned it, but I don't feel comfortable doing it. So do you think Master Sergeant Rodriguez can help me? No, right? But you're always tasked with doing extra stuff, right? And so getting out, I had to learn how to say yes to things, right? And at work, I have no problem saying yes. I'll help people with whatever I want. But now I've had to learn how to say no. And I find this funny because I've asked several people to be on the podcast. And the people who say yes automatically just yes, not a problem. But the people who say no don't know how to say no. They'll say, yeah, sure, let me think about it. Or, yeah, sure, let me look at my calendar and come up with a date. I don't care. You can say no all you want. What difference does it make to me, right? I'm just some dude in my house, right? I told you who's on my board of directors. My granddaughter and Taco, the French bulldog, right? That's my board of directors. So if you say no, that's fine. But people have a hard time saying no. I've had people say yes 3 times, and when I reach out to them, it's like, yes, let me get back to you. I've had somebody tell me just recently, it's like, yes, yeah, let me get the topics and I'll get back. Just say no. It's all right. It's okay. The one person that actually said no, and I wasn't surprised at this, but people in the military would be surprised. It's a Birdman. I'm not going to use his name, but we worked together in the 97th and towards the end of my career. And I worked with him previously here and there on jump stuff, airborne operations, whatever you want to call it, right? He's a soft-spoken guy, intelligent, but he's just soft-spoken, laid back. And people in the military and civil affairs specifically took that as him being lazy. He was 10 times the worker I will ever be, that I will ever hope to be. That guy worked like I've never seen anybody work as hard as that guy. But just because he was laid back, people took it the wrong way. And when I asked him, hey, will you be on my show? Because he's transitioned out. He just recently earned his bachelor's degree. And he was polite and he said, hey, man, I'm kind of low key and, I just don't feel comfortable. Thank you for the invitation, but I'm going to say no. Okay, good on you. Like, I hope the best for him. I really like that guy. I respect him. I know he's going to be fine in life and whatever he does, because just his mentality is just calm, cool cat, man, just relaxed and highly intelligent. And to his benefit, people mistake his relaxed attitude as not being as intelligent as he is, and that's his advantage over other people. And So I'm glad. This gentleman is also the same person who raised hawks as a kid, right? Like who raises hawks? Trains them to swoop down and go catch mice and stuff. It's like this. It was awesome, right? So we have to learn how to say no. I have no problem saying no anymore, and people always look to me like I'm crazy because I had trouble saying no in the military because right? In the military, you want to get promoted, you want to get ahead. So you can say no to a certain point, but you have to bring value to the unit, right? Everybody who ever worked with me would tell you I was an ass, but I would say yes because you have to be value added. If you're not, then why are they going to put up with you, right? So yeah, I did the airborne stuff. I did the jump master stuff, the medic stuff. I maintained my language scores, right? I tested like 4 languages, and it was 2-2 in all of them. And I made the unit look better. By the way, I didn't get to go to language training or refresher or any of that. I had to do it all on my own. So I made the unit look better, right? So you have to be value added. So I would say yes, right? And in the military, I liked it because there were several times where I was going to take vacation, the block leave before we deployed, and I told the first sergeant. First sergeant didn't like me. He hated me, and this was my last deployment as a team sergeant. I said, "Hey, if you need anything, you let me know. I'm willing to help out." It doesn't take block leave, but I wasn't going anywhere. I was just going to stay home so I could spend time with my family because my daughter was in school. And so an airborne operation came up for another company, and he said, "Hey, well, will you do it? Because remember, you said you do it. Remember, you said you would do anything. You would do it. You like, what is this? Junior high? Like, I can change my mind. I'm on vacation. I can say no." And even if I'm not on vacation, I can still say no. It's not it wasn't my responsibility then. It's not my responsibility now to do other people's work, to do favors for them if I don't want to. I'm not obligated to. I don't owe anybody anything, right? And so I had to learn how to remind myself how to say no. And now I just tell people no. And they'll follow it up with a question, and the answer is still no. I offer no explanation because I need not explain myself to you for any reason. If I do offer an explanation to you, it's not because I think I owe it to you, it's because you're one of the people that I respect. So I will offer you an explanation. If I don't offer you an explanation, that means I just consider you another person. Vaya con Dios, Holmes. All right, so that leads me into my next topic, right? So in the symposium, I saw a few people that I knew from before, right? And this leads into when you're in the military, right? You have this craziness of where we talk to people and we say things, and it's rude, it's inappropriate, but we don't know it because things are tolerated in the military that are not tolerated in regular life. And you should when you're in the military, you should take the opportunity to try to speak like a normal person. You stop and think, should I say this? Is this appropriate? Why? So you can see my hair, it's coming in slowly but surely, right? And so I saw a couple of officers that I knew. They were young captains or majors now. And I was like, hey, yeah, I got some. They were asking me where I was. I told them what I was doing. And of course, one of them said, I'm one of the analyst instructors for 8th Pog. He's like, well, you're going to be fired here pretty soon because, they're reorganizing, which I find hilarious because any officer in civil affairs who says that they know what's going on with the branch is an absolute liar because nobody knows what's going on because it's Thunderdome. And so for him to say, oh, you're going to lose your job because they're reorganizing, you don't even know what you're doing tomorrow. So to you, sir, F you. And sir, not as an officer, but good sir, as in good day, good sir. But so I said, yeah, I've got some hair transplant. And of course he said, oh, was that from your butt hair? And I know he thought he was being funny, but I looked at him and I said, what is it? I asked him and his companion, what is it with officers that you guys are just say things and you think it's appropriate? It's like, one, that was inappropriate. Two, it was sick. And three, it was, what would I say? It was borderline, I forgot. But anyway, it was just wrong, right? He shouldn't have said it. And like he was taken aback. Like I can't believe you spoke back to me. It's like, yeah, I'm not in the military, you buffoon. Speaking to me like that is wrong. It's inappropriate. You should not speak to anybody like that, right? I've had that's three majors now, and I've had two captains all reference like, "Oh, did you get hair from your butt? Did you get hair from your scrotum?" Which, yeah, when I was in the military, it'd probably be funny. But this is what people don't understand. When I was in the military as enlisted, I would put up with stuff because I was enlisted, right? And I wanted to get along as best I could. But I'm not in the military anymore, so I don't have to put up with anybody's crap. So for anybody out there who's listening, if we work together and you think that you're going to tell me something and I'm not going to respond, you're in for a surprise because I'm going to tell you exactly what I think and I'm not going to hold back. Right? Those two young gentlemen are just glad I didn't start dropping F bombs because who was going to stop me? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. All right. So this follows on into what my point number 3, right? In the Army, most people that you know are not your friends. They're not. They're coworkers. Why do I say this? Because I talked to a few people at that symposium. I've seen few things on LinkedIn where people are talking about, I miss the smell of diesel and I miss the camaraderie of good friends that I had. And it's like, well, and I was talking to people there. It's like, well, when did you get out? It's like, well, I got out 10 years ago. So you miss good friends. When was the last time you talked to them? Well, last time I was deployed was, 13 years ago. So you haven't talked to these people in 13 years. Sorry to tell you, those are not friends. They were your coworkers. If you haven't talked to these people in 13 years, they were your coworkers. And I wouldn't even say they were coworkers. I'm going to say that they're people who had something in common with you. They left the wire and they wanted to stay alive. And you wanted to stay alive. You weren't friends. And it's important for you to understand that because your friend is somebody that you can call on when you're feeling down. You need to talk, or you want to go watch a ball game, or if you want to go watch Alabama at the Rose Bowl, right? That's a friend. Or you want to go watch Wasp and Reno with your friend. That's a friend. Somebody that you knew 13 years ago that you were on a convoy with, and you haven't spoken to them in 13 years, was not, is not, and never will be your friend. All right. I was at the gym yesterday, right, and I took my shower and I was putting on my pants, and the lady who dry cleans my pants, she uses this ridiculous amount of starch on them, right? And so I was putting my pants on. There was some guy in there. I've seen him at the gym. I don't know him. There are two guys. One I've talked to. The other guy, don't know who he is. Right? That guy. He says, "Man, that's a hell of a lot of starch, right?" Because my pants were sticking together. It's like, "You must be one of those guys who wore BDUs and had spit sign shoes." And I looked at him and said, "Please don't use military terminology when you speak to me. I am retired and I do not talk about the military any longer." And I said it just like that. Nice and slow and stupid, just like Forrest Gump, right? So he would understand. Because I don't know this guy. He is not my friend. I don't owe him anything. So if he wants to strike up a conversation, you could strike up a conversation like a normal person and say, "Hey, that's a lot of starch in your pants." Okay. Or, "Hey, where'd you get your pants dry cleaned? I might want to take my clothes there." Is But referencing something like I don't know what he was did. If you're watching this on YouTube, you need to look at my face. Does this look like the face that says, "Hey, let's be boys, let's be friends," especially when I'm in the gym after I'm showering? You freak. Don't talk to me when I'm half naked, you pervert. Right? Like, come on. So, yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like, just because we're veterans doesn't mean we're all buddies and friends. I bring that up because I've seen quite a few people who say two is one and one is none, and we have to look out for each other, right? We have to look out for each other. Well, we have to look out for ourselves first, right? You have to make sure your mental health is good. If your mental health and your physical health is good, then how are you going to look out for somebody else? There's that mentality of the military where, well, I'm the platoon sergeant or I'm the team sergeant, so I have to look out for everybody. It's like my blood pressure when I was a team sergeant was 170 over 110, right? Nobody cared. Nobody gave two shits on whether I was going to die. So now I'm taking a step back and I'm focusing on me. And why? Because I deserve it. I deserve to focus on me. This class that I'm taking, right? I made it perfectly clear. I have no interest in being a mentor or a coach to anybody at this time. Not officially, right? Not people ask me for advice, I will give you advice. If you need assistance with something, I will assist you. But to go through that certification so I could be a certified coach and coach someone, no, I don't have that time and I don't have that commitment because I'm placing my well-being first. And it's okay for us to be selfish. Nobody wants to tell you that. Everybody says, we have to look out for each other. Well, who the hell's looking out for me? Right? Me. That's who's looking out for me. And for you, if you're listening to this, you know who's looking out for you? You. And if you're not looking out for you, you need to start. Because you're not in the military anymore. You're not going to get a phone call if you don't show up to work. You're not going to get, people coming over to make sure you're all right. You're not. And this brings me back to my last point for this short podcast. Hopefully it's short. Is that right? I bring this all up because for me, what's important. I missed a lot of time with my daughter. Right now, she's in Alabama. By the time, like I said, by the time she was 18, I missed 6 years of her life. And then she went to Alabama. That's 4 more years. So I've already missed like 10 years of her 22 years of life, right? And so we're waiting to hear where she's going to go to graduate school now, but she has no intention of moving back. And for my family, right, my parents both passed away. My eldest sister, she passed away. Mother passed away at 73, father at 53. My eldest sister, I think she was about 70. I got news this week that my eldest sister now, right, she's 60 and she's in bad shape. She's in the hospital. And so time is guaranteed to no one, right? We have a limited amount of time on this planet. I know I have fewer years ahead of me than I do behind me. And so that's why I'm focusing on me. And I want to help. I want to spend time with my family, as much time as I can. Right? I've said this multiple times. Health in my family it's not good. Right? I'm probably the healthiest person in my family. But I can see that I probably don't have another 30 years of life on this planet. I'll be lucky if I can crank out 15, because that's just the genetics in my family, right? You just go young, right? Comparatively. And so we need to focus on ourselves. We need to focus on what we think is important. This PhD program, I enjoy it. I enjoy working with my cohort. They're all freaking out about the paper. Like I said, I need a 60% to pass the class. Why? Because my goal is to earn a PhD, not to have a 4.0 in the program. It's not. I couldn't care less about that. Right? I'm here. I have my opportunity. You want me out of the program? You're going to have to kill me. That's the only way you're getting me out of the program. Right? And that maybe your attitude shouldn't be that severe, but you should find something that you want to do and pursue it to the best of your ability. And you're going to hear a lot of naysayers, a lot of people tell you, oh, well, this, and it's like, who cares? Who cares what they say, right? If you look at them, and don't be judgmental, but they probably haven't accomplished all that much. Or maybe they have, I don't know. Either way, don't let people stand in your way from accomplishing your goals. Spend time with your family. Take time for yourself. Relax. I like to do stuff because I found that I cannot completely relax. I need a little bit of stress in my life to be able to live a normal life for me, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm actually going to go edit this paper now. So we're going to call it an episode. But before I go, I want to make sure, if you have an opportunity, go check out the 1CA podcast. It's about all things civil affairs. It talks about geopolitics and international relations. It's not for everyone, but it helps you stay connected to the force. And it's a pretty good podcast. I enjoy it. I couldn't care less about what's going on in the military. You know, I'm not jumping out of airplanes. I'm not shooting anything anymore. I'm not doing any of that. But I like to listen to different podcasts just so I can get tips on just like how to present and how to do things, just different ideas. So if you have a chance, go ahead. You can find it wherever you find podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And likewise, you can find my podcast, FTU Life After the Military, which is dedicated to the well-being of veterans. Find that anywhere, right? Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which I think is shutting down, but the Samsung, you can find it there. Amazon Podcasts, anywhere, and Podbean. Love the Podbean, right? Well, you can find it there as well. Anywhere there's a podcast, you can find my podcast. So until next time, remember, you have something that makes you special. You have something that makes you unique. Identify what it is, maximize it to its fullest potential, and I know you'll be successful. So until next time, zot, 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 and roll tide.